I know that everything happens for a reason, and I know that, you know, my main focus is to turn my pain into power. I'm not ready to jump into a new relationship. You know, I don't know if I want to date women, men, both. I don't know.
Oh, now you don't know if you want to date women.
I'm saying I might want to have a relationship with a woman and a man. I don't know.
I'm figuring it out.
I'm figuring out.
Brooke Bailey was known to many as a boss mom, a powerhouse personality who rose to fame through the show Basketball Wives. On social media, she built a brand around high-end fashion, motivational quotes, and polished selfies, often captioned with one signature phrase, "My daughter is my legacy." Her fans saw her as a woman of strength, balancing grief and ambition, a mother who had suffered deeply yet managed to build an empire. To outsiders, she looked like a woman mourning her child while empowering others. But what seemed like a tribute slowly began to unravel into something much darker. It all started with a terrible tragedy. Her 25-year-old daughter, Kayla Bailey, full of life and beauty, tragically died in a car accident late at night after posting selfies at an event. The news hit the internet fast. Soon, timelines were filled with black and white memorial posts, candle emojis, and heartfelt messages. Brooke posted a tearful video saying, "She was my heart, and the world mourned with her." Celebrities reached out. Her followers shared her speeches about grief. Brooke even started a foundation aimed at helping mothers like her deal with loss.
Healing looks like therapy every week. Healing looks like giving myself grace when I need to, and also, you know, making sure that I continue to live my life the way that I know that my daughter would.
She held emotional live videos and sold merchandise tied to grief and healing. In the beginning, everything seemed sincere. But grief, especially on social media, can sometimes hide more than it reveals. Within just days, things began to feel off. Internet sleuths started digging into the details of the SUV Kayla had been driving. It turned out the car had expired tags, no insurance, and was registered under a fake address. The business that had leased the vehicle? A Nevada-based LLC tied to Brooke's own media company.
I have been hearing her on the phone, listening to her conversations, and one thing that she said about you is that she's sick of hearing your voice.
Her voice?
Yes. And she also said no one's interested in you and Christians getting married. Oh, she sent your nudes, and with your vagina and your breasts out.
What the?
She absolutely hates Evelyn and Shawnee. Literally said the word hate out of her mouth.
Then, something strange happened. One of Brooke's posts honoring Kayla included a window reflection. Eagle-eyed viewers noticed something unsettling. In the reflection, Brooke appeared to be wearing her signature diamond cuff and had a smirk that didn't match the moment. Speculation exploded. Was this staged? Not long after, a woman named Mia, who had worked closely with Brooke, came forward. Mia revealed that while she was supposedly hired to manage Brooke's digital legacy, her real job was altering timelines, backdating posts, faking emails, and deleting anything that didn't fit the narrative. Mia recalled Brooke once saying, "If something happens, I don't want tears. I want clicks." That one quote shifted the tone of everything. More evidence began to surface. Brooke had launched a campaign tied to Kayla's death just 72 hours after the accident. She created merch, booked interviews, released exclusive content, and set up donation pages, all without explaining where the money was going. Then came the most disturbing discovery, a file called Crisis Plan 1. Inside were notes about planned partnerships, future interviews, and a timeline for Brooke's redemption arc in case of Kayla's death. What kind of mother builds a storyline around her child's passing? Investigators found more. The car Kayla drove had been recalled due to faulty brakes. Brooke had received the notice and signed for it but never acted. When Kayla expressed concern, Brooke allegedly told her, "We can't take that car off the road. Optics matter." That decision, prosecutors said, cost Kayla her life. Even worse, many of the tributes from influencers and online friends turned out to be sponsored. Emails revealed payment arrangements and even drafted captions, such as, "Though I never met her, Kayla's light touched us all." PDFs of invoices followed. Brooke had been organizing and profiting from the entire operation. It didn't stop there. One leak claimed Brooke had pitched a prison podcast called Life After Legacy. At court, she showed up in all black, wearing a veil and heels, like she was still on a set. But when Kayla's personal journal was read aloud, the mood shifted. In her own writing, Kayla described herself as being turned into a campaign. Brooke broke down for the first time. Outside, protesters held signs that read, "Justice for Kayla and you can't influence death." Inside, things got colder when Mia returned, this time holding a flash drive. Without saying a word, she gave it to the prosecution. What followed was devastating. The drive contained more than 40 audio clips, hundreds of emails, and calendar invites with titles like Launch Sadness, Crisis Spin Week, and Kayla Optics Prep. One file featured Brooke practicing how to cry in front of a camera. She repeated the line "My daughter was my everything" multiple times, same tone, same pause, same background music. Another recording captured her saying, "Being my daughter is a role. You don't give it up. It's not a birthright." The courtroom sat in stunned silence. Even her lawyer lowered his head. Evidence showed that she had paid a PR firm to manage the image campaign. Suggested taglines included "Widow Energy, strong but tearful, and prioritize legacy over tragedy." Investigators uncovered fake grief retreats, shell corporations, and ghostwritten testimonials, all based on a business built from pain. Kayla's death wasn't just a loss, it was a turning point in a calculated strategy. And then, a final video surfaced. Found on a memory card in Kayla's belongings, the footage showed her, makeup-free, eyes full of sadness. In a trembling voice, she said, "I'm tired of pretending. I feel like I'm being used as a symbol for other people's pain. Please don't let her sell this if something happens to me." You could have heard a pin drop in the courtroom. Soon after, Brooke fainted. She collapsed to the floor like a puppet cut from its strings. Nobody moved to help her. Outside, chaos erupted. People were crying, shouting, recording. One sign read, "Kayla didn't die. She was sold." Within an hour, Brooke was trending. And then came another twist. An anonymous whistleblower leaked a new file. It revealed that dozens of influencers and brand partners had been paid to post tributes. Emails, bank transfers, content calendars, all proving that the grief had been planned like a product launch. There were pitches for a documentary, a skincare line inspired by healing from grief, and even a children's book on loss, all ghostwritten, pre-approved, and branded. In just days, public opinion shattered. Sponsors cut ties. TV networks paused influencer-based shows. 4 major companies released statements denouncing Brooke. Congress introduced the Kayla Bailey Act, a bill to regulate the exploitation of children and dependents for online fame. Brooke never spoke again, not in interviews, not in court. But Kayla's voice finally broke through. In old clips, blogs, and a final comment on a memorial page, she wrote, "I was never allowed to be more than her plot point." Filters defined the influencer world. But in this case, no filter could hide the truth. Brooke Bailey's story wasn't just about one mother who went too far. It exposed an entire system built on the illusion of connection, where pain became a product and loss was just another post. And as the final chapter of Brooke Bailey's story unfolded, it wasn't just about her anymore. It was about the system that let it happen. A culture so obsessed with image, likes, and viral grief that it couldn't see the warning signs until it was too late. Kayla Bailey was more than a daughter. She was a person with dreams, fears, and a voice that was silenced long before her life ended. In the end, she became a symbol not of empowerment, not of legacy, but of what happens when influence turns into exploitation. We live in a time where tragedy trends, where pain can be packaged, and where even the deepest grief can be monetized. But no brand, no PR firm, no amount of followers should ever come at the cost of someone's humanity. And yet, that's exactly what happened here. What started as a heartbreaking loss transformed into a media circus, carefully crafted narratives, sponsored sympathy, and staged sorrow. A mother turned her daughter's death into content, and the world clicked, shared, and bought into it. Not because people are heartless, but because grief is powerful. It draws us in. It makes us feel connected. But when that grief is faked, manufactured, and sold for profit, that's when we cross a line that we may never recover from. The courtroom didn't deliver just a sentence, it delivered a reckoning. Brooke Bailey was told she didn't mourn her daughter, she managed her. She didn't lose a child, she launched a product. And those words hit like a hammer. Not just for her, but for anyone watching who ever mistook branding for authenticity. Even as Brooke was taken away, silent and unblinking, the story kept unraveling. Sponsors vanished. Networks canceled deals. Social media influencers deleted their posts in shame. Some admitted they knew something felt wrong but chose to stay silent. Others claimed they were fooled just like the rest of us. But the most haunting part? Kayla had seen it coming. Her final video wasn't a goodbye, it was a warning. "Please don't let her sell this if anything happens to me," she said. That wasn't just fear. That was knowledge. She knew her life and death were being turned into something she never agreed to. And now, it's up to all of us to listen. This isn't just a story about one mother who crossed every boundary. It's about the world that rewarded her for it until it didn't. It's about the blurred lines between influence and manipulation, between mourning and monetization. It's about a society that too often values performance over truth. Let Kayla's story remind us that not everything we see online is real. That real grief is messy, private, and personal. And that no amount of followers, sponsorships, or trending hashtags should ever come before human decency. So the next time you see a viral tragedy, take a moment. Ask yourself, who benefits from this? Who's being hurt and who's being used? Because Kayla Bailey didn't just die in a car crash. She died inside a machine that saw her as a stepping stone to something else. And only after her voice rose from beyond did the world finally start to listen. Maybe that's the saddest part of all. Thank you for watching. If you found this story powerful or thought-provoking, consider sharing it, not for clicks, but to honor the truth. Kayla deserves that much. And if you or someone you know is experiencing grief, loss, or manipulation in silence, reach out. Your voice matters. Don't let anyone use your pain for their platform. This was more than a story. It was a wake-up call. Ask yourself, who benefits from this? Who's being hurt and who's being used? Because Kayla Bailey didn't just die in a car crash. She died inside a machine that saw her as a stepping stone to something else. And only after her voice rose from beyond did the world finally start to listen. Maybe that's the saddest part of all. Thank you for watching. If you found this story powerful or thought-provoking, consider sharing it, not for clicks, but to honor the truth. Kayla deserves that much. And if you or someone you know is experiencing grief, loss, or manipulation in silence, reach out. Your voice matters. Don't let anyone use your pain for their platform. This was more than a story. It was a wake-up call.